Hello, everyone.
Hi, y'all.
Welcome to the Mustache and the Beard.com. Two great geeks changing the world one post at a time. Okay, good. Good way to start.
Don't forget that .com.
Yeah, that .com.
That .com.
Yes, so I am Louis Matos. I'm the Mustache. I am the pilot of this Starscape here. And my navigator, my partner in crime, my PIC, my buddy.
Hey, hi, y'all. Junior Figueroa here, a.k.a. The Beard, coming to you live from Puerto Rico. And I want all of you to remember something. Wherever you are, that's where you be.
Yes. And you're isolated, aren't you? Well, if you...
Not everybody. I mean, depending upon what part of the country you're in, the various stages of isolation. I just talked to a friend of mine who lives in Maine. I asked her how she was doing, and she tells me that she's taking advantage of the low gas prices to fill up her car, and she's visiting all the sites in Maine that she has always wanted to see but was never able to see. She's not leaving her car, right? She doesn't get out of her car, but she's traveling. So, some people, some are better off than others.
Okay. So we are doing Enter the Maelstrom video number 2.
Two.
All right. So we're going to be talking about stuff that you can binge watch to make your isolation a little less isolated. All right.
A little less isolated?
Yeah. A little alone. A little less solo. Be a little more Han. A little more Luke. All right. I'm a father. We do punnies.
Okay.
All right. And we get that groan all the time, too. It's like, oh. But with a little glimmer in their eye. All right. So we're going to talk about a few things that you can watch. Last time we told you about superhero stuff, right?
DC Marvel Universe stuff.
Yes. That you could binge watch and spend a lot of hours on just superheroes. And so today we're going to be talking about a little more sci-fi stuff. All right? Which is a little more down your alley.
Yeah, down my alley.
All right, so I'll tell you, the first time I got Netflix, God's honest truth, the shows that I immediately put on my queue were Star Trek, the original series, Star Trek, the animated series, Star Trek DS9, Star Trek Voyager, and Star Trek Enterprise. Because I said, I am going to watch all of these in a row. And oh my God, that's a lot to watch. All right, so on the original series, there were 79 episodes with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley. I know not everybody's a Star Trek geek, but most people that like sci-fi...
What do you mean not everybody's a Star Trek geek? You better be a Star Trek geek.
Hey, got you a little animated.
Sure. Not everybody's a Star Trek geek.
Yeah.
Go to your room. Go!
You are grounded.
You're grounded. Hey, actually,
yeah.
We're all grounded. Have you stopped to think about that?
Yeah, I did.
God grounded us all.
All right, so the original series, 79 episodes, 3 seasons worth. But listen, there are some really... Don't get me wrong, there are some stinkers in the bunch. You know, Spock's brain. When it comes to that one, you're going to be like...
That's the universal...
yeah.
The Pan episode. Yeah, everybody pans that episode.
And the cat, the black cat. That one's another two suckers right there. But most of them are really top notch. You know. Yeah, so I'm not going to... You could probably say some episodes right off the top of your head that are great, like City on the Edge of Forever.
The Trouble with Tribbles.
Uh-huh. That's a funny one.
Conscience of the King. Conscience of the King happens to be my favorite episode.
Oh, is it?
Yes, that's my favorite. Of the original series, my favorite episode of the original series is Conscience of the King.
The Cage. We like
The Cage.
A Piece of the Action.
Piece of the Action.
That's a funny one, too.
The Trouble with Tribbles.
Gotta love that one.
Yeah.
All right, so there are some really great episodes in the original series, but there are 79 of them. Guess what? When it comes to the next generation, oh my goodness.
Well, that's because there's only 3 seasons. That's 79. But if you add the 2 seasons from the animated series,
that's true.
It does bring it up to 100 episodes.
Right, because the first season, wasn't it like 13 episodes or something like that?
Altogether it's 20.
Okay, so altogether it's 20 episodes.
And although they always say that there's 79 episodes of the original series, one episode is 2 parts. So technically...
The Menagerie?
Yeah, technically it's 80 episodes with the 20 from... oh, did you hear that?
Yeah, but they're interrupting our video.
Anyway, with the 20
But
from...
I don't know if people would pay to see that.
With the 20 from the original series, it comes up to 100. I mean, the animated series. The animated series was supposed to be an extension of the original series,
and it's all the same characters.
Yeah, it's just animated. It's all their voices, so you can't think of it as as an extension. And altogether, it comes to 100 episodes.
Now, the animated series is not on Netflix, though. It was on at one time. Now it's on the Amazon Prime, but you got to pay for it because it's part of the CBS All Access. They use a little hook to try and get you. Yeah. So CBS All Access.
Damn you, CBS! Damn you!
I know. All right, so yeah, talk about the Next Generation. There were 7 seasons of the Next Generation. So you're talking about another 178 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. And, they were each an hour long. So you're talking about, some real deep going into the season, into the series. Loved it. Again, a high recommend for me. Yes, there are some episodes that you're like, really?
Well, you're going to get that with any series that's been on for
I think so,
a long
too.
Time. Yeah. Any series with longevity, you're going to have some...
stinkers.
You're going to have some bombs, and you're going to have some really
funny ones,
yeah.
Some funny ones that, they were like, we're punchy. Let's do something funny instead of all serious stuff.
Yeah, and the beauty of Star Trek is that once they're all 7... it's up until Enterprise. They're all 7 seasons. Once they got to a point where they knew that they had the 7 seasons locked, you can visibly see them relax. You can see them experiment. You can see them get looser. They're not. They don't have anything to prove anymore. It's winding down. But most series, when they're winding down, get bad. Right? Star Trek, not that it gets better, but it gets different. Buffy was like that too. It got different. They were willing to experiment.
All right, so that's Star Trek: The Next Generation, Star Trek: Deep Space Nine, which is one of my favorites. I would say it above. I know. Close your ears. Above the original series. All right. So Deep Space Nine, I absolutely love Deep Space Nine. Loved the father and son relationship between Avery Brooks and Cirroc Lofton. Amazing storyline. Rene Auberjonois, God rest his soul. Alexander Siddig, Nana Visitor, Armin Shimmerman, mainstays. Love those. And you also loved the Cardassian played by, what's his face?
Cardassian Taylor.
Yeah. I forgot his name off the top of my head.
I think, in my opinion, of all the Star Trek series, all of the Star Trek series, I believe Deep Space Nine was the best written.
Oh, okay.
I really do.
So you're with me with...
I'm not saying that it's necessarily the best acted, okay? And I'm not saying that it's necessarily had the best special effects or anything else that Star Trek is known for. I'm not even saying that it necessarily has the best relationships, because relationships is also something that Star Trek is known for. But it had the best writing. That writing, and it was consistently good, week after week after week after week. I have to hand it to Deep Space Nine for that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, definite another recommend. And again, there were 176 episodes, only 2 less than the Next Generation. Star Trek Voyager was also 7 seasons. This is now with the female captain, Kate Mulgrew, Roxanne Dawson, Robert Beltran, Jerry Ryan, Ethan Phillips. Jerry Ryan, I know. I had to say it twice. Because the show, when she came on...
You should say it 7 times.
Yeah.
7 of 9.
Uh-huh. All right, so Jerry Ryan was, really super in this show. And it was interesting because Star Trek has this way of making the villains, turning them into good guys somehow.
Yeah, villains. Klingons are bad guys in the original series, and we get them as a good guy in Next Generation Worf, right? Ferengi are the bad guys in Next Generation. We get them as good guys in
Deep Space Nine.
Right? The Borg are bad guys. We get them as a good guy in Voyager 7 of 9. You got to hand it to Star Trek. If nothing, they're consistent.
Yes. So yeah, another 7 seasons, long run, 172 episodes.
Not everybody's favorite Star Trek, but I do know die-in-the-wool Star Trek fans that this is their favorite show. And I know 2, for example, and they're both females, so perhaps it was a show that appealed to more of a female audience, which is perfectly okay. Perfectly all right.
Yeah, my ex-wife being one of them.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
She was definitely loved Voyager.
Yeah. So, which is fine.
Yeah.
I love Voyager also. I'm simply saying I wouldn't necessarily consider it the best of the bunch, but definitely binge worthy.
A big recommend.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Star Trek Enterprise, which only lasted 4 seasons and 98 episodes. So even though it only lasted 4 seasons, it was, still something to watch. A little more difficult to watch, I think. For me, it's the weakest of all of the Star Treks. However, still some really memorable episodes, and I still would recommend that people binge watch Star Trek Enterprise.
The problem with Enterprise wasn't actually the show. It was sabotaged by Paramount. Paramount sabotaged.
Okay, a little louder.
Paramount sabotaged the show.
Yeah, you told me that you get comfortable.
For example, they started out the show, and edict came down that they could not buy any freelance scripts. Okay, now throughout Star Trek, starting with the original series, some of the best episodes were scripts that were bought from freelancers. City on the Edge of Forever, The Trouble with Tribbles, right?
David Gerald and Harlan Ellison.
That's right. So now how are you going to, after all these decades of buying freelance scripts, are you going to tell the show that they can only use scripts from their staff writers? Which means that you get the same ideas rehashed.
Yeah. Recycle old ideas.
Recycled old ideas. Okay? That was the first sabotage. The second sabotage is that Star Trek traditionally, from Next Generation on, appeared twice a week. on a weeknight and a weekend, usually Saturday. And for ratings, what they would do is they would take the ratings from the weeknight and the ratings from the Saturday night, add it together, divide by 2, and that would be the rating number for the show. And in that way, Star Trek was consistently a high-rated show. For Enterprise, Paramount decided that it would only going to go by the ratings for the weeknight show. Unfortunately, most Star Trek fans would not catch the weeknight episode. Most Star Trek fans would watch it over the weekend.
Right.
The weekend didn't count. Okay? It was only the weeknight show. And so it started getting bad ratings. However, if you had done it, if you take the numbers and you do it the old way, it would have been getting high ratings. It would have been considered a high-rated show. But doing the weeknight alone, it wasn't, and so Paramount used that as a excuse to cancel the show. The president of Paramount at the time went on record as saying, "I don't like science fiction. I don't understand it.
No, I don't understand it.
I don't understand it. I don't like science fiction." So he killed Enterprise.
Ridiculous.
$1 billion baby.
And so you could see the outlier in 7 seasons, and then 4 seasons. You know there was something different about that show.
And meanwhile, the people writing the show are thinking that they're going to be on for 7 seasons, so they had surprises and subplots and things planned for 7 seasons.
And they got a surprise. Only 4 seasons, sucker. Still, but listen, there are some really good episodes in the season, and you have to take all of that into consideration. But still binge-worthy, still worthy of being watched, still being considered part of the Star Trek universe. I can't talk about Discovery, but you want to talk about Discovery, Star Trek Discovery? And...
Well, I wouldn't. It's only 2 seasons. I wouldn't. I highly recommend Star Trek Discovery. I highly recommend Picard. But it's Discovery is 2 seasons, and Picard is in its first season. I can't really recommend it as something
binge-worthy.
Remember, we said like last week that we would recommend The Mandalorian, right?
Right.
But it's only got 10 episodes, you know. So it's not something that
8 episodes.
8 episodes. It's not something for binge-worthy. We're talking about binging.
You could sit down and watch it all in a row.
One night, it's just...
And this stuff you can't. This other stuff you can't.
We just watched the show on Netflix,
Ragnarok.
Fantastic show. I loved it, right? 6 episodes the first season. I can't recommend it for binge watching. I can recommend it as a good show. Watch it, but it's not binge worthy.
Maybe 1 or 2 nights you can go through the whole thing, but
it's 6 episodes.
6 episodes, 45 minutes long each. It's not enough. I know you're stuck in here for weeks at a time.
Yeah, so we're trying to tell you stuff that's long.
Okay.
At least 100 episodes or so.
All right. So this stuff is on Netflix except the animated series. It is on Amazon Prime.
And of course, Discovery. We'll mention Discovery and Picard. They're on CBS All Access.
Okay. Amazon Prime. You want to tell them about Stargate SG-1?
Okay, that's the one that I would recommend. Not only Stargate SG-1, I would recommend Stargate the Atlantis. And Stargate Universe, but Universe isn't, again, it's not
a lot.
It's not a lot. It got canceled too early for it to be a binge-worthy show. Atlantis was on for 5 years, 100 episodes. It is binge-worthy. And Stargate SG-1, oh my God, was on for 10 years.
10 seasons. Did you hear that?
10 seasons. 200 episodes. 200 1 hour. Well, actually.
Close to 1 hour. 50, 55. Some
Yeah,
are
yeah.
some are a little longer, some are a
Yeah.
little shorter.
But that's a lot of time.
Yes.
That's a lot of time. And it's worth it. Oh my God, it's worth it.
200 hours worth of TV.
There are only 2 shows that have really made a strong bid to try to knock Star Trek off its pedestal. Okay?
Good luck with that, sucker.
The majority of people think that the number one sci-fi show ever is Star Trek and its universe.
Right.
In other words, Star Trek, Next Generation,
DS9, Voyager,
and so on. I personally don't think that. I disagree. I think Doctor Who holds that title. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is that the majority of people think that it's Star Trek. There are 2 shows that have made a bid to knock Star Trek off the pedestal. One of them is Stargate SG-1. And in its time, it was doing it. In its time, it had the popularity, it had the longevity, it had the follow-up series. It really made a good bid for knocking Star Trek off its pedestal. It did not. It did not, through no fault of its own. It did not, but it did make that attempt.
Yeah, I was thinking we were going to fight. But that's okay.
No, it didn't. It through no fault of its own, because who knows if Stargate the Stargate series died because of MGM's financial problems. They couldn't continue the series. If they had continued with Stargate Universe. And again, and after Stargate Universe, another series, then we might actually be talking in terms of Stargate having made a strong impact against Star Trek's pedestal, but it wasn't able to. It seemed like it was going. 10 years for the 10 years, and then 5 years. And the thing is that Stargate Atlantis was canceled. It was still had the ratings. It was canceled simply because the Sci-Fi Channel decided that 5 years, 100 episodes, they can now make money syndicating the show. So they canceled the show, not because the ratings had waned, but simply because
it's a moneymaker now.
It's a moneymaker now. Okay? So that's we understand where the Sci-Fi Channel comes from. So, which is basically why they also canceled Farscape. That's also the reason why they canceled Farscape. So, and actually why they canceled Stargate SG-1, they realized they had 200 episodes, 10 years. Why bother continuing? So SG-1 was at the top of its game when they canceled it. So, and then anyway, the second series that I say made a bid to knock Star Trek off its pedestal was Babylon 5. Babylon 5 made a strong bid to. It got sabotaged by being on TNT. So
and it was only 5 years, right?
But it was only supposed to be 5 years because it was announced that it had a 5-year plan. And so it wasn't a case where it was canceled because of ratings or anything. It was only supposed to be on 5 years. And then they followed it up with another series, Crusade, but it just, you couldn't, TNT just, TNT decided that it didn't want to do sci-fi. It didn't want to do original programming in sci-fi, so it almost didn't do its 5-year plan. It almost got canceled after 4, but it managed to salvage the final year and end the way it wanted to end.
That's weird because didn't TNT do The Last Ship and this other alien invasion thing with the guy from ER?
That was years later.
No. Okay.
That was years later. This was at the time. At the time, TNT said it didn't want to do. They didn't want to do original programming in sci-fi. So it made a good attempt. Babylon 5 made a good attempt. It tried. Babylon. Remember that Babylon 5 was on at the same time that DS9 was on. This is how far back.
Mm-hmm.
This is how far back it goes. In fact, the J. Michael Straczynski proposed his idea for Babylon 5 as the DS9 concept, and Paramount turned him down, and that's when he turned around and he made it into his own show. What he had wanted to do was he had wanted DS9 to be a Babylon 5, but they said no.
All right, let's move
So
on.
wait. So Babylon 5 is another series I recommend.
But where
binge watching?
Where would we see that?
I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe it's on Amazon.
And they
Prime.
would have it like seasons,
Well,
like the
yeah.
way they have it on.
Like
I know that they have Stargate, like they have it all free, so you could watch. We started watching it because I remember watching it, but I didn't remember staying with it. So all for that. Okay. The wind just blew my sheet.
Holy sheet.
Yeah, holy sheet. All right. There is anything else on Amazon Prime that you want to recommend that's like the Stargate? You said Stargate Universe.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who is on Amazon Prime from the beginning, or no? It starts like.
Well, it depends. You have to decide what beginning you're talking about, because you have the classic years, which are back when it was videotaped, and then you have the modern years when the show got canceled, and then they brought it back, and now it's not videotaped. Now it's filmed, and it's a 1 hour show, and so it depends upon which beginning you're talking about. They do have the modern modern episodes, starting with Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant and then Matt Smith and so on. They do have. Holy shit, Batman! It got blown away again.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would recommend Doctor Who, greatest sci-fi series ever, and certainly the longest running sci-fi series ever. So.
All right. Moving right along. Okay, another thing that is on. Now these are nothing that I've seen on Amazon or on Netflix that is as long running as the shows that we've recommended so far. All right, so I'm just gonna run through a few of these, and then we'll be done with our. Well, The Witcher you recommended earlier this year, and this is more of a fantasy, and fantasy sci-fi is kind of like a mixed bag. So you liked The Witcher, right? I did too. It was a little more complicated and nuanced, but once you understood what they were doing, see, they did a little trickery on the show, which is great. But they didn't make it clear that they were following two different timelines, and so you're like, wait.
Yeah, you start out thinking that everything is happening at the same time. You're simply switching from scene to scene.
Yeah, speak up.
But the truth of the matter is that it wasn't just switching from scene to scene; it was switching from time period to time period.
Yeah. But it's a little tricky thing, but by the time that it's getting to, I think it's 8 episodes or something like that, or 10 episodes, it's short, but it gets you intrigued, and then you find out it's gonna be a year before it goes to season 2. So,
Netflix.
Yeah, it's a Netflix thing. The Umbrella Academy. Did you like the Umbrella? Did you
Yes,
watch
I
that?
did. I very much like the
Another
Umbrella.
thing.
It's the X-Men on crack. So if you like crack and you like the X-Men, check out the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, it's kind of a superhero type show, but a little more formal, a little more. It's like I'll tell you, it very much is like the X-Men. So if you like the X-Men, it's
the X-Men on crack. I'm telling you. Watch the show, and then you're going to walk away saying, he's right. It's the X-Men on crack.
all right. The Stranger Things. Stranger Things is it's kind of like a Stephen King story with kids, young kids, dealing with sci-fi, monster kind of stuff. So you have this Steven Spielberg, Stephen King aesthetic that it takes a couple of people a few episodes to really get into it. For me, it grabbed me right away because those two things are kind of my favorite things. Those two guys. And I was an '80s baby, and this is right down my time period alley. When we would play Dungeons and Dragons, it's very much a part of the aesthetic of the show. Riding your bicycles, Halloween night, dressing up with matching stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, and that's 3 seasons worth. I want to say 24 episodes. All right, so not a lot, but enough to last you for the week. Zoo. You liked Zoo, right?
Hated it.
Oh, you hated Zoo?
I liked the first season. Hated every season after that. Stopped watching it.
Oh, did
as far
you?
as I'm concerned, it jumped the shark.
You're not recommending it. Then.
I would not recommend it at all. I recommend the first season, and that's it. If you want to, do yourself a favor, watch the first season and act like if the show got canceled at that point on.
All right. Well, I like the show. I don't like James Patterson as a writer. I don't, but this it has everything that I like. As far as post-apocalyptic, things changing. So yeah, I would recommend it if you want to take a look at it. Again, he didn't recommend it. He didn't like it at all. Yeah, I think I know why he doesn't like it. Something happens there at the end of the first season that is kind of
they jumped the shark.
Okay.
You know what jump the shark? Do you guys know what jump the shark means? When a show loses its focus, loses its direction, goes off in another tangent, and stops being what the show was originally. It comes from the episode in Happy Days where they go to California and Fonzie, wearing a leather jacket, skis over
jet skis
over a shark. That's where universally it is felt that that's where Happy Days lost its focus. And so that expression, jumping the shark, became the expression for shows that lose their focus.
Yeah, half our audience is like asking, what's Happy Days? What's Fonzie?
So,
but yeah, jumping the shark.
That's what jumping the shark means. And I feel that after the first season, Zoo jumped the shark.
All right. What about The Walking Dead? Did you like The Walking Dead? Did you watch The Walking Dead at all?
I watched the first episode of that. Was it.
One episode. So because you didn't like the show?
I like zombies.
Okay. It's horror television. I know.
I like vampires.
Yeah. This isn't horror. This isn't vampires. It's
vampires
all
are sexy.
Zombies.
Zombies aren't sexy.
No, of course not. They're disgusting.
Yeah. Hence why I don't like them.
Post-apocalyptic and disgusting. So if you're into that, 8 seasons worth. Oh, Another Life. Something that we recommended, right? But only one season, I know.
Only one season.
But it is coming with the second season coming soon.
Yes, but when Netflix decides to get off its ass.
It was supposed to already come out in April, but probably this whole thing, I would think that should hasten the release.
Netflix is like that. They gave us Lost in Space and then waited almost 2 years before giving us the second season. By that time, Will had grown up.
That might be part of the aesthetic, the whole idea. Now I haven't finished watching the Lost in Space this season 2, but all right. I think we're gonna leave it here. Gonna leave you with those Star Trek episodes to binge on, the Stargate episodes to binge on, and
Doctor Who episodes to binge on.
Yeah, that. All right. And so I guess just gonna say.
That's it.
My name is Louis Matos. I'm the mustache.
Get yourself popcorn. Get yourself some apple juice. You know, our kind of apple juice. Get yourself some apple juice. Get yourself some popcorn. Get yourself a nice lady, or if you're a nice lady, get yourself a nice gentleman, or you know, if you're of the persuasion, if you're a nice gentleman, get yourself another nice gentleman. If you're a nice lady, get yourself a nice lady, and hell, get yourself 2 or 3. Sit down on the sofa, popcorn, apple juice.
Social distance, though.
Put a giant condom over your entire body, and sit down and watch these shows. Binge watch. This is why God created binging.
Netflix.
Okay, Netflix. No, and you got Amazon Prime. You got Hulu,
Disney Plus,
CBS All Access, and whatever other movie sites or illegal stuff that you got. I ain't staying.
Go.cwtv.
Yeah, whatever. Go. Become a couch. What's a couch?
Patriot.
Be a couch patriot. Okay? For the good of the country, we got to stay indoors. Become a couch patriot.
All right.
We've given you the ammunition.
Yes.
Shoot your wad.
Don't shoot blanks.
Don't shoot blanks.
My name is Louis Matos. I am the mustache.
I am Junior Figueroa, and I is the beard.
With that having been said, how about see you later?
Hasta la vista.
Take it easy and
peace.